Big changes coming for Americans verifying their identity to the Social Security Administration. Come March 31st, people will need to verify their identity through an online service. If they can't, they have to visit a Social Security office in person, and dozens of those offices being shut down all across the country, from California to New York. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says this is a move in the right direction to catch fraud, and that most recipients wouldn't mind a skipped payment.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
Millions on Social Security are expected to receive $6,000 more with a payment boost possibly coming in a matter of days, guys. President Donald Trump shocks DC as he signs an executive order to protect all future elections. Alina Habba sends out a warning to those who are included in the Epstein list. And somebody has finally taken the blame for adding a journalist to an alleged top secret chat group. Y'all better grab some popcorn, guys, because this is actually going to get really interesting here. So let's go ahead and start with Social Security and what beneficiaries can expect soon. Now, if you guys appreciate the updates, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Millions of retirees are expected to get a very much needed Social Security boost, a significant budget adjustment that's set to affect many seniors, disabled individuals, and survivors. Besides the unusual COLA adjustment, the increase is also affected by the implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act, which means that millions should expect more money in their April checks. For COLA, benefits have been adjusted for inflation. For 2025, it's 2.5% compared to 3.2% from last year. Now, most recipients have already seen this adjustment at the start of the year, although there are others who haven't due to different considerations like maybe payment schedules, internal processing delays, and of course, eligibility factors. The SSFA, or the Social Security Fairness Act, was signed into law last year. Now, it aims to repeal the WEP and the GPO, which reduces Social Security benefits. Now, this affects public sector workers like teachers, police officers, and firefighters who also receive pensions not covered by Social Security taxes. Now, reports show that more than 3 million Americans will be affected by this change. Now, if you want to verify if you're covered by this change, it would be best to go ahead and check your SSA account online. You can also either call them or you can visit your nearest SSA office in person. Now, it's also possible that you've already received a letter from them that states that your payments are set to change. So if you got some, I don't know, some SSA or Social Security mail laying around that you didn't open yet, now might be that time you want to go ahead and open it. Let me know if any of you guys have already received a letter. And if you're able to see and hear me okay, just drop a quick yes in the comments. All right, now some might be happier than others, as it's estimated that millions may get up to an additional $6,000 in their bank accounts. And while retroactive benefits started being sent out late February this year, there are those who can expect it to arrive within just a few days. Either that or the money's already been deposited into your bank accounts. Now, moving on, guys, voter fraud has always been an issue in our country, right? Even though there are those who claim that this is not true. But a quick search shows that we've seen hundreds of these cases in different states. I'm talking states like North Carolina, Texas, Minnesota, and even Illinois, more than 100 cases each. President Donald Trump on his end understands just how important it is to abide by what the people voted for, which is exactly why President Trump signed an executive order that's meant to keep our elections fair and accurate. So here, listen to all the details that's included in President Trump's executive order.
Sir, we have an executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time. This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election. This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes, particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on and on for a while, sir, but compliance with National Election Day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Okay, you all understand that? Yes. Election fraud, you've heard the term. We'll end it, hopefully. At least this will go a long way toward ending it. There are other steps that we will be taking in the coming weeks, and we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Moving on, guys, Alina Habba recently revealed that she's going to prosecute anyone who may be involved with what Jeffrey Epstein did on his island, saying that anybody who's involved, they need to watch out. So this warning comes as the FBI is now working around the clock to get this list released. It's reported that some agents are working 12-hour overnight shifts to properly redact the files that they have, specifically as they're working to protect any witnesses who may appear on the list. So agents have been working from different offices, some within the FBI headquarters, while others are also doing the work at field offices in New York and at an FBI office in Chantilly, Virginia. It's said that the materials that they have includes video, which means that the FBI is also using editing software to protect people under federal laws, which includes, of course, the Privacy Act. I'm really hoping that we actually get a bombshell this time around. What about you guys? Especially with the first phase of this entire list just being a dud. Now let's talk about government secrets and how a journalist with TDS was included in alleged top secret group chat. So here's National Security Advisor Michael Waltz talking about it recently on Fox News.
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links to lie and smear the president of the United States. And he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
Is someone in your intel? Is someone in your intel team trying to cause trouble here? Because that's the scuttlebutt out there.
Look,
that
we have people. No, look, this is a great group. The president has a great team. This is not first term.
No, your team. I'm not talking about the other principals.
No. These were principals and a couple of staff that were coordinating, as you saw, having a policy discussion as we went forward. And then just in the days before, what was an incredible strike. Not only did we take out people that the Biden team never could, that we took out headquarters, missile caches, and actually one of the leaders of the Houthi organization. We've since taken out several since. And, you know, that's what they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the success here. They don't want to talk about the hostages getting released. They don't want to talk about the Black Sea ceasefire that we just put in place today as the president ends the largest land war in Europe.
Now, I get it. They've had success with these strikes. But that doesn't really answer the question as to why this guy was added to the group, does it? And I've told you guys before that we're going to be holding the administration accountable for everything that they're doing, whether it's a success or it's a failure. And in this case, it's hard to argue against the fact that this was a botch. The person should have never been added to this group, and that an investigation should be done to provide us with a clear answer as to what happened behind the scenes. Waltz, though, he just brushed it off and said that this was all his fault.
It's embarrassing, right. Yes. We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened. But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how this happened.
So you don't know what staffer is responsible for this right now?
Well, look, a staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did the
execute
number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now, whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
So your staffer did not put his contact information.
No,
but how did it end up in your
that's
phone?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, but that's a pretty big problem.
Now, I understand that they're trying to be accountable for their mistakes, but this is something that's being deemed as a huge security risk. Now, I'm also having a tough time accepting his reasoning about someone else's name under a different number. It's also why many have called for Waltz and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to go ahead and resign. Because the idea is that if a journalist can just enter their means of communication, what about foreign spies? So do any of you guys agree that they should relinquish their positions within the Trump administration? Well, guys, the great wealth transfer is in full effect. Our freedoms are being stolen, guys. Credit card companies are out to get us. And if you don't understand the game, well, you end up getting played by the game. Now, if you're anything like me, guys, you were probably out of shape, maybe in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and just feeling like the system is just completely taking advantage of you. I remember for a long time, I could rarely ever get any time to spend with my wife. And through trial and error and through a lot of pain, I figured out how to gain freedom and also lose a lot of weight and actually get in shape. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a game changer. To no longer be living paycheck to paycheck, figuring out how to get the credit cards to pay me, the power of a strong credit score. I pay thousands of dollars less per year for the same house as my neighbor just because my credit is better than his is. And this is not to brag. I mean, but this is the truth. The banks are literally taking advantage of the poor. It's like the people who can least afford it, they're charging the poor what is like unofficially called a poor tax or a tax on the poor. I mean, I'm now at a point where, number one, I don't pay for credit cards. In fact, credit card companies pay me to use their cards. And I figured out how to build a lifestyle that is just ultimately very, very healthy. I lost a tremendous amount of weight and I put on a lot of muscle. But when I was struggling, I wish I knew people who knew these things. So anyway, I decided to create a community of like-minded people who are also interested, just like me, in living better. So if you guys want to join my community, it's called the Liberty Pursuit Network. It is brand new. Come on over. I'd love to have you guys and join like-minded people. Be positively motivated by others who are also on the same pursuit. So I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can join me over on the Life Pursuit Network in the description down below this video. So check it out, guys, and let's not be a victim of this great wealth transfer that is taking place right now. Now, I want to redirect you guys to a recent live stream that I did. It's a shocking one because Senator Bernie Sanders got visibly pissed off after a leftist journalist asked him about AOC. Make sure you guys check that one out next. As always, appreciate you guys hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.